Hi, I'm Jenny. This is my channel. Thanks for stopping by. My card today was inspired by my Pinterest browsing. I was on Pinterest and I noticed that there was a lot of things done both in card making and in fabric printing and quilting with geometric shapes. Lots of hexagons, lots of triangles, lots of diamonds. And I have a die from Honeybee Stamps that cuts a little piece of a honeycomb or a series of hexagons out of the cardstock, out of the can't think of the right phrase right now, out of your card front, right? So I wondered what it would look like to do a little bit of ink blending and then place that ink blended paper underneath a piece of paper with this hexagon shape cut out of it. Now it doesn't cut the full piece, it just cuts a couple of different a small group of hexagons. It's a little tiny die, it's about this big. And it turned out really cool. So after I had played around for a little while, I decided to recreate the card I had made. It was actually for my sister-in-law's birthday. I decided to recreate that and shoot footage of it because I thought it turned out really neat. In addition to the die cuts and the color blending, I used some layering stamps from Altenew. And it really is a simple card, but it has a dramatic effect, I feel like. So let me know what you think. Do you think that flowers and geometric patterns go together? Do you think, heck no, they should be totally separate? Let me know how you feel about mixing motifs. Thanks so much for stopping by, and I really hope you enjoyed the video.
This is the original card I made after looking at all of the geometric patterns on Pinterest, and it inspired this video. So now we're going to have a shot at take two. So for take two, I will be using this Honeybee stamp die. It is actually 3 dies, a single hexagon, a set of 3 hexagons, and then that grouping. I will also be using some tulips that I have already stamped from that Altenew stamp set, and that sentiment strip I'm going to try and figure out. I actually had stamped that for the original card and it didn't work out. So here's my card front, and you can see it's already been die cut, and this is the paper I will be ink blending onto. These are the flowers I stamped to go on the front of the card. I have all of the stamping and all of the die cutting already done before I started filming. And then, so what you'll see is just the ink blending. And this is what the die actually cuts out. That little frame, I'll put that frame back in place on the card front so that it gives that die cut piece a shape. So I have sped up the footage about 4 times normal and pulled out some Altenew ink cubes. I've got 7 colors there, and I will be using these blending brushes that my husband got me for my birthday. I think he bought them on Amazon because they were on my Amazon wish list. I picked a pink and a red. Now, in hindsight, I should have skipped one or the other. I probably could have skipped the red and just blended the pink into the yellow, and it would have given me kind of a red tone. And most of this blending paper is really going to be covered up. For real. I think we have like maybe 25% of the card or the ink blended paper showing through the card front. But whatever, I just wanted all of the cards on there. The trick to ink blending, you will not see in this video. The trick to ink blending is to make sure that you have really well saturated blending tools. And as you noticed, some of my brushes have not even been used yet. So I am really trying to break them in here. And I'm not worried too much about a smooth blend because most of it's not going to be visible. And the ink will, as it dries, it will kind of even out, smooth out a little bit. Holy cow, English is not my strong suit today. As I was getting to the end, I was a little bit nervous. I feel like purple often gets left out of our rainbows, and I wanted to make sure that the purple was represented. So my green stripe and my blue stripe are very small in comparison to like the pink and the red. Okay, so this piece of paper is 4¼ by 5½, and I want it to be slightly smaller. So I am going to cut it down to 4 by 5¼ And sorry, I'm a bit off screen there. I forget to zoom back out sometimes. And so here I have this ink blended piece, and here is my card front. And I'm just kind of figuring out which piece I want where. And you can see it's slightly smaller than the card front. I am going to use my ATG gun, my tape runner, to adhere these two pieces together. I did not want to even think about dimension on the back of this because remember that little teeny tiny frame I've got to put back in there? Yeah, I'm not cutting foam tape for that. Sorry, Sam, not happening. In order to get this piece placed in the center more, I decided to just flip it over and go from the reverse side. It seemed to be a little easier to line up. And here's that little dainty frame, which I think really does make the card. It makes the die cut. I'm pulling out my reverse clamp tweezers. They open when you pinch instead of having to pinch them closed. And my nemesis, the liquid glue. And I am being super, super smart right here. I am squirting liquid glue over the top of my card front. Because, yeah, why not live dangerously? If you're going to use the liquid adhesive, you're walking on a wild side already. I'm going to smear that glue off a little bit. I don't want big globs of glue sticking out from behind that die cut. I want it to be nice and smooth and flat. And we'll go ahead and put this other piece in. And again, see, I'm just walking on the dangerous side right there. Squirting that liquid glue all over the top of my card front. Oh my goodness. Usually I have scrap paper underneath my glue to catch that. I don't even know what I'm doing right here. I was feeling confident, I guess, for this project. I guess that's the plus of having made one already. Who knows? Okay, so now we've got that frame in there and it looks really nice. It's very polished and finished. And all we have left is the sentiment piece I already had cut out and then the tulips. So here I've got this big, huge sentiment and I want to not cover up my ink blended hexagons. I'm not sure why I was so fixated on that at this point because you'll see in a minute, I'm going to cover some of those up with the flowers. I don't know. Don't know what I was thinking. So we're going to go ahead and skip the sentiment strip for now and just go ahead and attach the flowers. So I have these 3 tulip stems and I'm going to figure out where to place them and fidget with them for a minute and yeah, go ahead and cover up the hexagons that I was trying not to cover up. I know, super logical, but whatever. Again, here comes my friend Tombo Mano, and we're going to put that down there and try and get it straight. And for real, straight is not my life skill. There's a lot of things I do really, really well. Straight, laying things down straight, drawing a straight line, not my best life skill. See, it went crooked. It covered up the first one. Yeah, I'll fix it later. There's always later, I guess. Alrighty, so now we have our flower stems on the card front, and I've pulled out my big roll of 3M double-sided foam tape. I want to pop those flowers up just a little bit. See, told you, didn't go on straight. I'm going to fidget with it. I'm going to see if I can make myself like it. Maybe I'll like it, maybe I won't. I'll tell you, spoiler, I don't like it. I'll fix it. Tulips are my favorite flowers. I know I've said that before. I love this Altenew stamp set because I really, really love tulips. I think they are just like the coolest flower. I don't know why. I just do. So I have these flowers on my foam tape, and here's where I decide, yeah, that's not going to work there. See, told you. Spoiler. And it picked a little bit of that cardstock? Picked a little bit of the paper up as I was pulling that off, but it was covered right back up, so I'm not super worried about it. I try really hard to let there be handcraftedness in my cards. I'm not a perfect crafter. I'm not none of us are. And so I try really hard not to worry about the little things about the card. But a torn piece of paper would have meant I would have had to start over, and I was not about to do that at this point. So thankfully, the leaf covered up the little rip in the cardstock. And shh, nobody knows about it but you and me. So here I have the sentiment strip again, and I am bound and determined to use this thing. Okay, I am a stubborn person. I was going to say I'm not a stubborn person. I am a stubborn person. But for some reason, I could not let this go. I just could not use this sentiment. I don't know why. And I was laughing at myself while I'm trying to do it, but at the same time, I'm still going for it. So I've cut that word strip in half, and I'm going to take the little piece that says sending you and cut it down and put some foam tape on the back and stick it in the top left-hand corner of that card. Because there's a blank space. There's a blank space, we got to fill it, I guess. I don't know. Something about not leaving empty spaces, I guess. Which is weird because white space on cards is totally fine. A little more glue on that flower I had to move. Whoops, there we go. Hold that puppy down. Oh, it's all about the glue, right? It's all about the glue. See, everything's sticking to my fingers now. So I found a card base on my desk, and it is a shade of yellow. Don't know what brand it is. Probably Stampin' Up. No idea what color it is because I don't keep track of that. It is 8.5 by 5.5, and I have scored and folded it at 4.25. And it is the same size as this card front. The first card I made had a black panel around it. And when I started this card, I decided not to do that because I was trying to get that big, huge sentiment to fit. And somehow I thought that would matter or make it fit. I don't know. The card front is a little bit longer than the card base, so I'm going to go ahead and trim that off. The other thing, the first card I made was portrait, and this is landscape, also in an attempt to use that sentiment. I will go ahead and put a piece of copy paper inside this card for a space to write on. And then in a flash of insanity/brilliance, I decided that I could trim this down a little bit and even out the top where I had cut the sending you words off and stick that little piece right inside the card. Like I said, I had just decided I was using this thing and it was going to go on this card. I don't know. Don't know where I'm going to put it. Oh, there we go. Right in the middle. So there's the card. I really like the flowers and the hexagons together. And there are the cards. So let me know what you think. Do you think that flowers and geometrics go together? Do you think they should all just be in their own world? Leave me a comment, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and thanks so much for stopping by.